Hey folks, I have got another project demonstration for tonight. This is the end of the semester and I'm doing my data structures and algorithms final project here. So I've only got 5 minutes, so let's jump right in and get started on this. So the idea of this project, this is going to be a car rental management system. So it's going to allow you to enter customer data, to rent cars to them, and then also return cars, and then there's going to be a stack structure. So when cars are returned in my fictional car rental agency, they're going to be parked beside the building. It's going to be like an alley, and it's going to be like a stack. So I had to make a stack work in here. So cars are parked, and there are going to be the last in first out structure, like a stack structure. So that's what that will be, and there'll also be the transactions to look at that I keep track of in my application as well. So the code for the code itself, I wrote all this in C++, but I've got my basic classes are customer classes. We've got rental vehicle classes to keep track of all the data from that. I did make a transaction class to keep track of all those transaction elements. So when you rent a car, it starts a transaction object, and then when you return it, it completes that and then records all the data from that. And then I also did a repository class. So I did use a SQLite database backend for this. And so I put all of my database logic into a repository class. So all my queries, anything that talks back and forth the database, getting stuff out, putting stuff in, all goes into my repository. I've tried to comment everything. Everything's hopefully nice and clean, organized. It's all in here, looking pretty sharp. So that is most of it, and then all the, of course, the GUI logic is all in the main window. That's just how Qt works. That's what I built this with, is the Qt framework. But let's look at the application itself. I'll show you how that works. So we've got our application here. Now the first screen is just kind of for show. It's got a calendar and a little message of the day. But when you get into it, the customer page, this is to add customers. You could add a brand new customer by filling out the form here. So, and if you notice at the bottom, there's also some data validation. So it has to be within a certain length. Different fields will have different lengths for them that it will check for. And you could fill all that out and save, and that would add that to the database. But I've got some test data entered here. So you can click on any of the loaded customers and it puts our information in, and then you could edit it from here. So if, let's say I got the address wrong, I can edit this guy, and record has been updated. I can bring Tom back up, and you can see here he's got the proper address here. I can also delete customers from here as well. But once customers are in place, then we can go to the rental screen. And on the rental screen, we can select different car categories. They've got the prices listed. And I built this little search feature, which is kind of nice. So as you're typing a customer into the customer box here, it's going to filter the results down in here. And you can search by customer number. That works. You can do by first name. That works. Last name. Any of those three categories, you can start typing, and it dynamically will filter the results out for that. So we can select this guy here. We can select a car category. Let's do premium, and then it updates the field here. A spin box for number of days, and we hit complete rental, and then we get a pop-up that says all the information I selected and the amount that will be charged. If I say yes, oh, then it says, uh-oh, wait a minute, there was no premium vehicles available. We don't have any of those in inventory currently. So I got a little bit of error checking there. I do know I've got a lot of compact cars. Let's put him in a compact car today. The amount's different, obviously, and we can hit yes. And then he was just rented a car. That's all it takes to do it. So it's very quick and very easy. And that will move us to the next screen, which is our return. So these are all the currently rented vehicles. And then from here, we can click on one, and then it will change the field here to the car that's selected, and then it requires that we have a return condition. So if we don't put anything in, we'll get a pop-up that says, please enter return condition. So let's say Tony brings his car back, and we just say that it was clean and full of gas. And then we can return his car. Now in the next screen, we've got our return queue. And again, this is a stack structure. So the customer brings the car back, they park it next to the building, and then another car, and then another car, and then we can only take the back car off. So it's a stack structure. So this will always show you the top of the stack, or the car that can be removed. So if our parking lot attendant comes out, he says, well, which car do I need to move? He gets the keys for the Ford Focus. Now if I return another car, let's say Larry, he brings his Lexus back, the only premium car we have. I'm just going to put something in, and I go to return queue. Oh, wait a minute, Larry's in the back now, so he's at the end of the structure. The lot attendant takes Larry's car, moves it back to the lot, and now it's out of the way, and then we can click return, and it gives us the next one in the stack. So he can always know which one is the one that he needs to shuffle back out to the lot. And the last thing I've got is just a transactions page. And it's going to show you all the completed only transactions. So cars that have been rented and then returned. So we've got a start date, we've got end date, number of days rented. But what's nice here is we've actually, if you click on the customer number, you'll get a pop-up that's going to have all the transactions relating to that customer. I think actually if we return another one, and I just put in a nonsense thing here, and then we go to transactions, then we can see that Kathy actually had 2 transactions, and they're sorted by end date too. What I do in my application is I'm actually storing all the transaction data both in the database and also in a map structure. So the map structure will have a customer number for an int, that's the key, and it will have a vector of transaction objects as the value. And then I also wrote an insertion sort algorithm to sort those transaction objects by end date before it enters them in. So they're always in the correct order when they go into the map structure, and when you pull them back out to look at them, they are in the correct order here as well. And that is the entire application. This was a pretty interesting project to work on. It was pretty fun. I felt it was, I tried to make it really clean, very organized, so hopefully that came through in the code. But that is all I've got. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.